Let's look at what NAPQ questions, the new model of selling, will do for you, which is actually quite a lot. First, questions gather, analyze, and diagnose. They help uncover what their problems are, if any, and find out if they want to change their situation. They also help analyze and diagnose problems, their causes, and how these have affected prospects. Questions involve the other person. It makes them feel that they are part of the process. When they answer you and you listen and respond to their answers by asking additional questions to go deeper in the conversation, you will gain more understanding and they will feel that their ideas, comments, and concerns are respected and validated. Questions internally persuade your prospect. By answering your skilled questions, your customers experience a very powerful internal motivator that will make them automatically feel like taking action now instead of someday. You don't have to try and persuade them anymore. Just ask your NEPQ skilled questions that I will give you access to and then listen. You can literally ask and listen people into buying from you. Questions put you in complete control of the conversation, not for power or manipulation, but for you to keep the sales conversation on the right path. Questions persuade the other person. By asking easy to answer questions, your prospect not only tells you what their problems are, why they have those problems, and what caused them, and how these are affecting them, but most importantly, they are telling themselves. Their answers can give them a different perspective on why they keep allowing their problem to happen. And these answers internally motivate them to want to change their situation. Your questions empower your potential customers to get in touch with their emotional feelings about their present circumstances, to want to do something about it. They will want to change and they will want to make that change with you and now view you as a trusted authority. A good doctor or chiropractor does the same thing. He or she does not walk into the room and give you a prescription, their solution, without first asking you questions about your problem, what caused it, and how it's affecting you, right? Why? Because it would be the doctor's answer, not the patient's. The patient who is answering the doctor's questions knows the circumstances and will discuss them. They know their pain. The patient knows what their symptoms are, but they might not know the solution to their problem, but the doctor will. The patient feels like they are part of the process, and because of that, will more than likely accept the prescription solution the doctor gives them. It could be the exact same thing with you. Once you break the old model of selling and learn how to communicate in the new economy, your prospects will discuss their situation with you as a trusted advisor. They will work with you to overcome any concerns they might have. They get to see problems they never thought they had by answering your skilled questions. It makes them want to move forward with you. And at the end, they are more likely to look at and accept what you are offering them and will purchase what you sell. What else do questions do? Questions reveal consequences. Your questions will open up your prospects to really think about the consequences of not making a change. How will they be affected if they don't do anything about solving their problems? Questions create value in you and what your product and what your product or service. By asking right questions at the right time in the conversation, you automatically create value in who you are and what you represent. Your prospects will buy into you first, and the strength of how much you understand them from listening to their answers. Let's look at an example. Say you sell franchises and you have a booth set up at a trade show. Someone comes up and asks you to tell them more about what you do. Instead of going into a classical sales pitch, find out why they asked. Briefly answer the question with your personalized introduction. This is where you tell them 2 to 3 generic problems they would associate to their industry and how what you do helps people solve those problems. You could say something like this. Well, you know how a lot of people nowadays are finding it harder to get by with the corporate downsizing, the lack of job security, and the higher cost of living. What we do is we help people set up their own franchise business so they can start taking care of themselves and their families and have that control themselves. What should you do next? You would immediately follow up with a question, what's called a situation question, such as, tell me what you do for a living. You are now in a two-way conversation. You will then start asking them situation questions about what they are presently doing, how long they have been doing it, what they like, what they don't like about it, and how they feel about it. If you know the right skilled questions to ask them at the right time in the conversation, they will look very seriously about changing their situation. This is what I mean by questions create value in you and what you sell. Never assume they are looking to start their own business just because they approached you. Find out what they are looking for by asking what problems they have, if any, why they have those problems, what it's doing to them, and whether or not they want to change their situation. Now, there are a few more ways questions help you out. Questions get them to become open to your ideas. You can make suggestions like, what if it wasn't what you thought it was? Would you be open to looking at it from another perspective? This is a big one. Questions help your prospects overcome their own concerns. This is the key if you want to be at the top in sales in the new economy. When you're faced with a prospect that has a concern, instead of handling it like an objection, address them by asking questions to get behind the concern so that you can understand it, and ask skilled questions to help them come up with their own solution to overcome their own concern. I know this is a lot of information, but just know that all the different types of questions, their sequence and structure will be broken down for you in a easy to understand way later on in this training. You'll learn what they are, when to use them, and help you and your prospects to clearly see where they are in their present situation, revealing any problems they have. One simple trick I can give you right now is turn your statements into questions. Instead of telling your potential customers about what you know and what you have, ask questions that will uncover and explore what they know about the subject first. If you tell your prospects your solution outright, you could be the one who ends up owning the problem and the solution. This would mean that your potential customer would be far less attached as opposed to when they feel that they are part of the process and they owned it. This is far less persuasive. Watch what happens when your prospects start listening to themselves answering your questions. They start to process the information internally as they are talking. Their answers help them think about their problems and to own the idea that they want to solve those problems. As they consciously and subconsciously internalize what they are saying to you, their answers help them look at and challenge their beliefs as to why they keep allowing their present situation to continue. When you ask these questions and people tell you their problems, they are also telling themselves why they have those problems, what's causing those problems, and how important it is for them to change their problems. People will start saying to themselves things like, gosh, why do I keep putting off buying life insurance for my family? Or why do I keep investing my money with this firm? Maybe I should look at what this guy is going over with me. Maybe I could probably get a higher return. Or why do I keep commuting to work an hour each way when I could be like this lady working from home? Or, wow, why do I keep advertising my business this way when I could be getting leads that have higher conversions for my sales team? They will keep questioning themselves. What's preventing me from doing this? What's holding me back? They will question why they allow themselves to stay in that same situation. Then they will start to think about doing something to change their situation. When your potential clients get to this point, because of your questioning skills, they will start to persuade themselves on being ready to make that change now, not in 6 months or a year, but now. Which kind of persuasion is more powerful? When your prospect persuades themselves on wanting to make a change with you, or when you try to persuade them to make a change with you? Think, I think you know the answer by now. When someone persuades themselves, they're internally motivated or motivated by their reasons. There's a big difference between internal and external motivation. Do you know what the difference is? External tends to wear off, right? It's like jumping in the shower and you get all wet, but then you get out and you dry off quickly. But internal motivation never dies. Do you see the difference there? So later in the sales conversation, after you've listened, you can suggest that you might know of a solution that could take care of their problems or help them get where they are wanting to go in their lives. Do you think most of your potential customers would be open to listening to you? Of course they will. And you know what? A very interesting thing will happen. Your potential client will like you. Prospects will start calling you back and chasing you rather than you chasing them. The reason for this is you have become what I call a trusted authority or trusted advisor in their eyes. Because for the first time in a long time, they know that you are genuinely interested in them and what they are looking for. You're not just another salesperson trying to stuff your solution down their throat. That's part one.